This video is going to be called Pollution because every time I go on Facebook, and I really try not to go on Facebook because I see a lot of stupid shit that I just want to argue with, and I don't want to argue with it, so I just don't go on Facebook. But I just recently, right now, just went on Facebook, and people always post innovative things that, when you think about it, don't work. If you think about the how it's going to work. See, like neuromarketing. In neuromarketing, they say how there's feelers, there's intuitive people, there's logical people. They're the thinkers versus the feelers. That's what neuromarketers work with. That's how they separate them. They separate the feelers versus the thinkers. And they say 70% of men are thinkers, 70% of women are feelers. 30% of men are feelers, 30% of women are thinkers. So, um, when I see things on Facebook that show a stupid story about machines that suck up plastic because the ocean's being polluted, yeah, good, it's being sucked up. But what are you going to do with the plastic once it's sucked up? Things like that, you're only temporarily fixing the problem, just like medication. You're not fully fixing the problem. You're not finding a solution to completely get rid of the problem, just like protesting. You're complaining about fixing something, but when the big problem is that there are four rich families controlling the U.S., and those rich families don't want the U.S. to be great. They could care less what happens to the people. I think about fixing the main problems that are causing all the little problems. I don't think about fixing the little things because the little things are just going to keep coming. If you fix a little, I just had kind of a little argument with my older sister about this because we always talk politics, and she just was pretty much trying to tell me how um, if I believe that I'm powerless in America, then I watch too much of the news. I don't watch any news. I read about news, but I don't watch it. I don't watch television. I'm just being logical about it. You have no power in America. And you know what happens if you get too much power and you're honest? You get assassinated. So go try that, Katie. Go try becoming big and honest. Every person who's tried to help the people has died. Want to know why? Because you can't be honest in America and popular because you die. Donald Trump was actually telling a lot of truth, but then he lied. He said, our currency's not controlled. And he said a bunch of other countries, their currency is controlled by the government, but ours is not. A lot of the stuff Trump says is true. A lot of the stuff Trump says is bullshit, like every politician. But when I see things on Facebook, when I see people talk about things, those are feelers. Those are complete feelers. They see something that just makes them feel. It just says, oh, that's going to help. But they don't ask questions. They don't say, well, when the machine collects all the plastic, where do they put the plastic after that? And they need to hire people to constantly collect the plastic every day. You need to think about these things. You can't just say, oh, there's a hole that collects all the plastic. Whippy. Everything's fine. No. There's bad people in the world that control everything else, and fixing one little thing is not one step closer to fixing the problem. Fixing the problem is getting rid completely of the four people that own America. Because you know what? They have all the power in the world over everyone. So your opinion, it matters nothing. It matters nothing. Corporations control America. And the people? Fuck them. They have money. Give it to the corporations. That's all they care about. So if you think that giving to the poor or putting a net in the ocean that collects trash is going to do anything, no. You have to correct the problem that's causing it. Fixing it temporarily doesn't fix anything. Fixing the main issue fixes everything. That's the difference between a thinker and a feeler. I'm both, but most of the time I'm a thinker. If someone tells me something illogical, my mom is almost 90% feeler and 10% thinker. Yeah. People in America, sadly, the reason they're so easily manipulated by consumerism of neuromarketing, so easily controlled by advertisements, is because the advertisers know they're easily controlled. They know that certain things set off emotions, and those emotions can be manipulated. If you learn neuromarketing, you can learn how people function. Psychology is just the tip of the iceberg. If you're learning psychology in college, you're not going to learn how to maneuver people. I'm not going to call it manipulate because everyone goes crazy when you say manipulate. You're not going to learn how to manage people if you just go to college and learn basic psychology. You're going to learn how to talk to people in a room and listen to them. Oh, how fun is that? Oh, you might have this problem by the symptoms you're showing. That sounds so fun. Or you could learn above and beyond how people actually function. That is neuromarketing. That's how the brain functions when it's given pictures, videos, images. Yeah. Neuromarketing is not cheap. But you can watch some free videos of it on YouTube and read about it in books, which is very useful. I just can't, I don't, it just drives me crazy. I wish the people in America would become smarter. Me going out, let me give an example. Going out into a crowd, standing up, and educating all the people. This is what's happening in the world. Maybe 50 out of the 200 of them would say, he has a point. But the rest of them would say, he's crazy. That's not what's happening in America. Even if I was great at convincing them. The thing is, you want to know how Trump, I watched a lot of Trump's videos because I was wondering how he's convincing the public that he's a good candidate. And I learned. And I learned from his tactics and what he does. And he's a very intelligent man. This is what I mean about neuromarketing. The more you learn how people function, the more you will succeed. I'm not like my older sister who wants to learn about politics and all that shit just so she can succeed in a conversation. I'm the type of person who wants to know how people just function so I know how I can have an edge over them when I'm selling something or talking to them. I don't care about being right in politics. I'm more interested in knowing how people function. So, Trump does this in every one of his videos. Normally, politicians, their tactic is to insult another politician behind their back, say, well, they're not suitable for this, this, this. Well, what Trump does is he reinforces positive on himself. That's his tactic, and it's working. And I started doing it, and it's working for me. I do it to my grandparents, and it works. It actually worked today, and they bought brownies. It works. You can use it. And it works because it does work. See, I just did it right there. What you do is you say that it works, and then after that, you don't shame yourself, because some people will shame themselves and say, well, I'm not very good at that. Well, I'm not very good at this. Well, I'm kind of good at that. What you have to do, and what Trump does, is he says, you know I'm a good candidate because you should elect me, and I know you will elect me. He is positively enforcing himself. He has no doubt. He has a lot of courage and might. That's a good way to put it. He has a lot of confidence. There we go. You have to have confidence when you talk. Because if you don't, if you put your head down and discourage yourself, then people are going to take advantage of that completely. If you go with the flow, you go with the crowd, then the crowd will go with you. But if you're different and you can have confidence and say these things work, because they do work, see, I just did it, people will more likely follow you, regardless of what you say or how you act. They just want a confident leader. It's been that way for hundreds of years. People will always follow a more confident person. They want to follow a group or a leader. And unlike Obama, who's a corporate ass sellout and just does things and says anything that they pay him to say, if you didn't know that yet, Trump says his mind and the truth about most everything. Not everything, but the truth about most everything. I look up to Trump not because of what he believes in, because of his tactics. I look up to his tactics, the tactics that get him liked. I observe his videos and I use what he uses to get people to like me. When you see someone who's rich, when you see someone who's popular, you don't hate them. You walk with them. You follow them around. You become their friend. You learn from their tactics. You learn what they're doing, how to do it, and then you repeat it. Then you get liked. That's how it works. But if you're not intuitive, you're not observant, you just say, that person's terrible. That person's horrible. That person's horrible. That person's terrible. I don't like that person. That's what you do because you don't notice that they're doing something right and you don't want to change. So you don't want to learn from what they're doing right. But I do. It's funny, Trump and me are the same exact rising signs and the same exact sun signs in the zodiac. He's a Gemini sun. I am a Gemini sun. He is a Leo rising. I am a Leo rising. I had to look it up. And I still stand by that point that he only says Mexicans are rapists because he wants attention. And I'll stand by that point again, that people in the media say outrageous things to get attention. People in general do outrageous things, like you feminists get naked in public for attention. Not because you want to stand up for something, not because you mean something. You want attention. People do things for attention. Huh. And it's true. And I completely stand by that, and I mean it, and yeah. Yes. Oh, and if you want to downgrade someone and talk bad about someone like Trump does, the difference between what he does and what other politicians do is once he insults someone and says how bad of a politician they are, he tells the person that they agree. Like, Hillary Trump is not a suitable person because she isn't. It's just the truth. It's just the truth, and she's not a suitable person. When you say it's the truth and they're not a suitable person, and then you say it's the truth again, and then you'll tell them it's the truth, then you're reinforcing in that interviewer's mind that, and in the television, because they're on TV, everyone's mind that, oh, it must be the truth because he said it was the truth. He said it 3 times. That's called embedded commands in NLP. Politicians are taught NLP. Um, there are NLP teachers who teach politicians how to speak professionally. You can learn NLP online, which is hard to do because it's kept secret most of the time. It's hard to find, but mentors of NLP will teach you for money. I was able to find some tactics on YouTube, around some books. But yeah, you can buy books on all these things I'm telling you about. There's a lot of good information. Use it. Use it to your advantage. I do. My sister said a hilarious thing since she was going to go to Thailand. She's saving up to go to Thailand. She said, all men are pimps. I'm like, yeah. She said most men are pimps. And I'm like, yeah. And it's how it's always been. So, she's a feminist. So, yeah. A crazy, crazy feminist. And feminists are crazy. You agree. You agree. They're laughing. My grandparents, if you heard that, I'm not just pointing to the wall. Okay, bye everyone, and have a nice night. I know you will. That's about it. Bye.